CyberHub bunker and studio. You're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Well, what's going on, security gang? Welcome as we wrap up this week, May 12th, 2022. We've got a lot to talk about today. Intel and Chrome patching things up. The government agencies start to warn over cyber attacks at targeting MSPs. CISA is letting everyone know if you're using the F5 Big IP appliance, you better patch it up. And Iran still prowling on the move, targeting countries all over the Middle East, and especially the moderate ones. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well on today's call. On today's show, I don't know why I said call. I've been on a lot of calls, like many of you in this time period. But before we do, my little beautiful, amazing cup of double espresso. What are you drinking this morning? Coffee, tea, Red Bull, water, energy drinks? I don't know, whatever it is. Coffee cup cheers. All right, let's get into what's happening because we've got a lot going on, like we just said. Here we go. If you're a practitioner, anytime Intel comes out with a patch, it's something you pay attention to. Why? Because almost everything within your stack is powered by Intel. Almost everything, whether it be your cloud servers. And if someone, I'm sure there's a comment going, well, I'm on the cloud, I don't think I need to worry about this. You kind of do, because you got to make sure that you're prioritized by your cloud service provider. You got to look at your SLA of their patching processes to get this stuff done. Intel announced the release of patches for multiple vulnerabilities across its product portfolio, including a series of high-severity vulnerabilities in the BIOS firmware of several processor models. A total of 9 documented high-severity issues impact multiple Intel Xeon, Pentium Silver, Rocket Lake Xeon, Core, and Core X series processors, according to the advisory. The most severe of those are 4 bugs that could lead to elevation of privilege via local access, tracked to CV 2021-0154, 0153, 33123, and 0190. The issues have a CVSS score of 8.2. Again, some of these require to actually have local access, which is not hard nowadays. Also, Intel announced the release of patches for high-severity bug in the boot guard and trusted execution technology, tracked to CV 2022-0004. The bug could also be exploited to elevate privileges on a vulnerable system. There's now patches out for this. You want to get this stuff patched as soon as you humanly can. Chrome 101 update patches another high-severity vulnerability. It seems like every other week, Chrome issues a new update. We're now on version 101. Google announced the release of the Chrome browser update that resolves a total of 13 vulnerabilities, including 9 that were reported by external researchers. Based on the severity rating and the currently listed bug bounties, the most important of these flaws is CV 2022-1633, a high-severity use after free in a share sheet that was reported by Khalil Zani, and who was awarded $5,000 for the find. It's great that they're putting in numbers, right? It's really smart of Google what they're doing here. And I think a lot of us CISOs or security programs can learn from this. Do a bug bounty. Give people the opportunity to come in and help you better your security posture. Pay them, and then advertise what you're paying them. Because that's only going to motivate other people to want to be like, all right, I can go spend a few hours and maybe find a vulnerability, report it, and make a few $1,000s. Nothing wrong with that. Why the hell not? So the new version of Chrome is 101.0.49 or 51.64, and Google made no mention of any of these vulnerabilities being exploited in any attacks, but good hygiene is to get these updated. Government agencies war of increase in cyber attacks targeting MSPs. Multiple cybersecurity authorities from Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, and the US on Wednesday released a joint advisory warning of threats targeting managed service providers and their customers. Key among the recommendation was identifying and disabling accounts that are no longer in use, enforcing multi-factor authentication on MSP accounts that access customer environments, and ensuring transparency and ownership of security roles and responsibilities. MSPs have emerged as an attractive attack route for cyber criminals. Attack one MSP can impact thousands of companies. So your ability to make money is increased by just that much more. And what else? I mean, you can shut them down. Kaseya, SolarWinds. There's been a whole list of these. The major security measures and operational controls outlined in the advisory are really the CIS top 20. 1, prevent initial compromise by securing internet-facing devices and implementing protections against brute forcing and phishing attacks. Enable effective monitoring and logging of systems. Secure remote access applications and mandate MFA where possible. Isolate critical business systems and apply appropriate network security safeguards. Apply the principle of least privilege throughout the network environment. Deprecate obsolete accounts through periodic audits. Prioritize security updates for OSs, applications, firmwares, and regularly maintain and test offline backups for incident recovery. The Five Eyes coming up with, they should have just shared a CIS top 8. Top 9. Okay, arguably top 10. Fine. CIS top 20. Could have just shared that. Here's some best standards to follow. Here's what we recommend you do. Here's how you do it. Would have been just as easy. A lot of this stuff is basic, but basic doesn't always make it past the noise here. CISA is telling federal agencies to fix the actively exploited F5 big IP update. CISA has added a new security vulnerability to its list of its actively exploited bugs. Its critical severity CVE 2022-1388 affects the big IP network devices. Now, big IP, I mean, it's not the first time you heard about this. We're not going to go through the history here. What really kind of stood out to me was CISA is telling federal agencies, patch it now, don't wait. There's nothing to wait for. Get it done. And I completely understand where this is coming from. This is being actively exploited. They don't want federal agencies to be part of that. Now, this goes on the list of must patch that CISA has. That's now like 600 and some odd vulnerabilities, right? Which is very hard to manage in federal agencies, because if any of you have ever worked or interacted with the government, they move slower than a turtle, and there's so much bureaucracy to get anything done. So one way to fix federal cybersecurity, reduce the bureaucracy and increase speed. And finally, Iranian hackers are caught targeting Jordan's foreign ministry. Malwarebytes security researchers said that they discovered a malicious email targeting government official at Jordan's foreign ministry. It appears to originate from a prolific threat group allegedly based in Iran. The company's threat intel team said Tuesday that it identified the suspicious message on April 26th. It contained a malicious Excel document that delivered Saitama, a new hacking tool used to provide a backdoor in the systems. Jordan's foreign ministry did not respond for requests for comments. Jordan is in a very sensitive place. 80% of its population is Palestinian. Palestinians tend to sympathize with Iran. Iran's been supporting Hamas and most of the terror organizations that exist within Israel. And so there's an internal political battle going on in Jordan. Iran's trying to destabilize that. Syria's ready to destabilize Lebanon on the northern border of Israel. If they can get Jordan, then they've gotten their eastern neighbor. And then obviously in the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt would be next for them. And they've been trying to destabilize that region through the Muslim Brotherhood and many others for now over nearly the Arab Spring was 11 years ago. So, and that all started with Iran. So Iran's cyber activities always match their political goals. This is one of those. Iran continues to target moderate countries. That's why they're targeting the Saudis, the Emiratis, the Kuwaitis, and many others as they try to increase their brand of and their influence regionally right now. And they're using cyber just to do that. The backdoor abuses DNS protocols, which helps internet users and network devices discover websites. Part of this is in order to also plant and create more unrest within Jordan. There's a whole slew of attacks they could do from a misinformation, disinformation campaign to really cause havoc for Israel's neighbor, Jordan. So keep your eyes out on that as well. Folks, that's it for the show today. We'll be back with a lot more on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend and the rest of your day. And most importantly, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.